Hey everyone, welcome back to the closet here. Today we're going to be looking at the DeepCool AK400. Alright, for our baseline test here, we've got just the Intel stock cooler on a 12400F. Now, I know some of you guys are probably thinking, why pair this with the 12400F if I'm trying to just get actual good thermal tests? I'm trying to take a more realistic angle with the AK400 test that we're doing. Pairing it with like a 13900K or even a 13700K, kind of just illogical. I would not recommend ever pairing this cooler with those CPUs. So it's more just a way to show you guys, a more real life application and use of this cooler and the expected thermal results that you should get when you pair it with an appropriate CPU with this guy. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to start with the stock cooler. I'm just going to run some Cinebench tests. Obviously, I've got a 6900 XT hooked up to it. We are open air, which kind of skews the results a little bit, but it is kind of best case scenario for both of these coolers in a way, especially the Intel one, because the AK400 will expel some of that hot air out the back of your case, especially if you have exhaust towards the back, which it'll help. Where the Intel cooler just kind of blows straight out, which has a harder time getting rid of all that hot air if you don't have really good airflow in your case. So, long story short, this actually benefits the Intel cooler more than it would the AK400. Having this open air setup. The other thing I was considering doing is running another benchmark like Heaven or something with the 6900 XT here, because this guy runs really hot. And seeing if that will affect the thermals on the CPU as well. There's going to be a lot of heat radiating off this backplate here. And that could affect some of the thermals for your CPU. It'll also make the motherboard warmer. So I'm just going to start with Cinebench and just see kind of what we get. And then I might try running Heaven with the 6900 XT and seeing what happens after that. All right, we just started Cinebench and already you're hitting 85 degrees Celsius on a 12400F. Really hot, and I don't know if you guys can hear it, but the Intel fan stock fan has really cranked up. And I literally just started this test. And TJ Maxx here, as you can see on core temp, is 100 degrees. And I wasn't expecting very good results out of the stock cooler. There's a reason why I believe they don't bundle this with the 12400F and they only bundle it with the i3 12100F. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the 12400F doesn't come with a stock cooler. Already we've hit a max of 91 degrees. I'm not even really sure that I need to see a whole lot more. I usually will let this run for like the full 10 minutes, maybe even 30 minutes, but clearly I think if I let this run for the full 30 minutes, especially if it was inside of a case where the heat starts to build up, if it didn't have good airflow, this definitely would be hitting TJ Maxx. Yeah, now we're at 92. It actually would not surprise me if I let this run for a full 30 minutes if this hit its TJ Maxx or got even closer, like hitting 95 degrees Celsius. So I think that we've seen enough here. I'm just going to cut it off. And let's go ahead and go through the install process of the AK400. All right, well, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and do the installation process for this guy. I'll be blunt with you guys. I have actually never installed one of these particular coolers. So I'm gonna be kind of learning with you guys as I go through it. Probably shouldn't be too hard. Most of the standard tower coolers are a pretty simple install. First thing is taking off this old Intel cooler. Ooh, man, I don't know what kind of thermal paste I use, but I wonder if this is the stock paste that... Shit looks weird, let me focus it. Like, what the fuck? You ever see it look watery like that? I wonder if we could have gotten some better temps just by swapping the thermal paste. That is awful. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Let's clean off our CPU quick. Might not even really need rubbing alcohol. This stuff is literally like a liquid. Let's just do a dry wipe first. Yeah, what the fuck is up with this shit? That must have been some cheap ass paste. Lord. Speaking of paste, I do think I'm just going to use the stock. I don't know. I'll use some thermal grizzly paste with it today. Just because I kind of always, I don't know, not always, but I do recommend spending the extra couple bucks for some decent paste. It's not like it adds that much onto your cost, and it helps your thermal performance usually by quite a bit. Right up top, we got mounting hardware, manual. Doesn't seem like it's gonna be too difficult. There she is. Oh, you know what? It's nice. You know what? I guess I won't end up using thermal grizzly paste. I don't really want to take the time to clean this off and stuff, but it comes pre-applied. You don't see that very often. That's actually really nice. All right, I'm going to read the directions a little bit and I'll come back to you guys. All right, I am back after reading some instructions, and I mean, pretty obviously, I kind of knew that this part was going to be a thing. Got to put the little back plate on. Shouldn't be too bad. I do still have some stuff plugged in, so I apologize. This is a little bit scuffed, but it's not really that big of a deal. Got to pull out these tabs. What the fuck? You got to pull harder than I thought. Ugh. Ooh, I don't like that feeling. Jeez. Rah. Yeah, you gotta really yoink on it. There we go. Good enough. And then once we get the back plate on, got these little plastic standoffs here. You kind of just put in place. There's two different kinds. There's like ribbed ones and smooth ones. I know it sounds kind of weird, but for this part they want you to use the ribbed ones. Don't ask me why. And then we've got this plate that I believe they want us to align it like this. And just to do a quick test, I believe that it's like that because this is going to sit on here like so, and then you screw it in to these, like this one you guys can see, and like this little tab sticking out here, if you can kind of see it, screws right in there. So yep, know for a fact that we got that correct, and I accidentally kind of got some of the thermal paste on the CPU, but that's okay. So let's just screw this down. Don't screw it in too tight right away when you're doing this kind of stuff either. Until the end, you want to make sure that you can get everything in there and fitting correctly. All right, now we can tighten it. Don't need to overly tighten it. Just get to the point where it doesn't really turn anymore. Yep. All right, and then we should be on our last step here. Like I said, they already pre-applied the thermal paste, so this would be the part where you'd put some fresh thermal paste on there if you wanted to, but since they come with a nice pattern of thermal paste right there, we don't actually need to, which is pretty convenient. Line it up as best you can so the thermal paste has good. Oh, you know what? We gotta take the fan off too. Otherwise we can't screw it in. Not a big deal. And then you can go ahead and tighten it down a little bit. Don't overly tighten it. This is way more important than the step before. You just want to start getting it threaded on this part. Uh-oh, a little misaligned here. But that's the reason right there, is that if you overly tighten one side, it's going to, these springs create a bunch of tension, and you're gonna have a really bad time getting the other side on if you tighten one side too much. Except this doesn't want to thread for me right now. Look, even computer guys like us make mistakes. Okay, there we go. So both sides are threaded. Now you want to kind of go back and forth. Tighten a little bit. Tighten a little bit. You want to make sure that and like I said, they have a pretty nice pattern on there already to kind of assist you with this. But it's just good to not overly tighten one side right away. Just make sure that thermal paste gets a good spread. So you don't want it all packing onto one side. And then you just kind of go till you feel it kind of stop. I think yep. Stopped. I think this side stopped. Yep. So yeah, try to do that as even as possible. And I think that's really it. Then you gotta just slap the fan back on. Oh, I usually hate like the fan mounting brackets, but I'm not gonna lie. Either it's like the actual tower cooler design itself or it's the mounting bracket, but that was super easy. And that is appreciated. Sometimes I can sit and have to fiddle with the mounting bracket on the fan for like ever. But yeah, that is basically all finished now. I love the design on this guy as well. It is so cool looking. Like there's just something about like the checkered stack that looks like awesome to me. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put our RAM and graphics card back on, and then let's do some thermal tests. All right, we are back and have Cinebench open here. Let's start the multi-core test and take a look at core temp. Okay, so one thing I'm gonna say right away, guys, is the sound is unbelievably quiet. Like I had mentioned before, if you guys could hear the Intel one through my mic, it was super loud. And I am gonna chalk maybe some of the bad performance in the Intel one up to some really crummy paste. I think with some better thermal paste it would have been a little better, but like, wow, the improvement here is honestly unbelievable. Like our hottest core last time I think was core 2. Looks like it's also the hottest here now. Before it was hitting what, 92 degrees I think, and we're down to 56. That is crazy in terms of improvement. And like I also said, this is just the stock thermal paste that came with DeepCool. I was going to use some Thermal Grizzly, which I might have even gotten better thermals, but like I kind of just wanted an out-of-the-box experience. Like I said, there was a part of me that was going to use the Thermal Grizzly, but I did not realize that DeepCool pre-applied the paste, which is like super easy and convenient for people that, you know, might not necessarily know exactly what they're doing on their first computer build. Applying thermal paste for some people can probably be a stressful process, even though it shouldn't be. There's not really I mean, there's a wrong way to apply thermal paste and it's not applying enough, but like as long as you get a good glob on there and press on your cooler, you're gonna be fine most of the, you know, almost every time. But I get that for some people, it's like a stressful process. Automatically apply it on there for you and look at the thermals. Excellent. And the noise, guys, I actually cannot describe to you how quiet this thing is. So one thing I'm also gonna do here, because I just wanna push this a little harder, is I'm gonna open up Heaven. I'm gonna see if getting the graphics card, hot will kind of start to affect the thermals. So yeah, we got Heaven running over on this side. So yeah, Heaven's running on the side of the screen right now. Right now I still am just, I mean, the temperature went up a little bit already. We're at 57 for our max now on Core 2. Core 3 is at 58 for the max. I'll let this go for 30 minutes or so. And then we'll kind of see what happens when I come back. So yeah, after 30 minutes, guys, nothing really changed. Max was like 60 degrees Celsius. I didn't really even bother recording it because honestly, it really didn't get any warmer than what you had already seen. It climbed like maybe 2 more degrees over the 30 minutes. And I'm really happy with the performance of this cooler. I mean, obviously it's a 12400F. I'm not slapping it up against like something super difficult, but you saw how poorly the stock Intel cooler did. It just kind of goes to show, even for like, what was this? I think I spent $30 on it. They might be going for 35. Sometimes you can get them on sale for even cheaper than 30 bucks. But I think I got this one on sale for $30. So 30 bucks towards your mid-range build, not a whole lot if you really think about it. And you have excellent cooling, excellent noise too. I think that's one of the things I was most impressed about with the DeepCool AK400 was that it never produced, honestly, any audible noise whatsoever. It was really weird. I'm used to fans being like pretty high RPM and being quite noisy. This thing, you wouldn't even be able to tell me it was on. Even when it was under 100% load, it was insane. Outside of just the noise and the thermals, I would say another big benefit, at least to me, was the ease of installation. It's not something a lot of people talk about too often because, I mean, obviously we are more concerned about the thermal results. It could be the easiest cooler to install in the universe, but if it sucks, it just sucks. I mean, the Intel cooler probably is the easiest thing to install on any computer, and it's terrible, right? You saw the thermals on it. It can't handle this even, I mean, it wasn't on TJ Maxx, but it was close enough where I would never be comfortable recommending anybody use a stock cooler like that. Yeah, if I were to find other, I mean, there's a couple other coolers I have tested and used in the past. In this price range, there's the Evo 212 from Cooler Master. That one's like an obvious one. Then there's the Vitro V5, and I think I even used a Thermal Right cooler as well. Can't really remember what exactly it was called, but they're all in the same price range, and out of all the ones I've installed, this was by far the easiest one I've ever installed. And on top of the pretty easy installation, it came pre-applied with thermal paste. The reason why I kind of give it extra points in this department is, like, you know, there's a lot of first-time PC builders out there, and a lot of first-time builders go with something more mid-range like this. And if I had somebody that was brand new to PC building and needed a cooler recommendation, this is what I'm going to recommend them every time. It has great thermals, great performance, and it's so easy to install that, like, honestly, a monkey could do it. So yeah, I mean, I think that's really all I got to say about it. It's a fantastic cooler, especially for a mid-range build. It does exactly what it's supposed to do, especially for this kind of pairing. I do wonder how far you could push it. I think that there's other videos out there that are better for that kind of testing. That's not, like I said, what I was trying to do today. I kind of wanted to show it in a reasonable real-life application on an actual mid-range CPU. Anything higher end than maybe like a 12600K or a 13600K. Might be a bit too much for a cooler like this. I think it actually would be interesting to see how this does with 13600K, because I think that would probably be its upper limit. It'd probably be a 13600K, and then anything past that, I would definitely get something a bit more higher end than something like this. But yeah, so maybe I'll do another test like that in the future. This one was just like pure mid-range, 12400F. You know, if you're using like a 5600X, 5700X, this would also work excellently for you as well. With all that being said, guys, if you enjoyed the video today, please consider giving it a like and leaving a comment. Let me know what you think about the video today. Let me know what you think about this cooler, or if you have any other recommendations in this price range that maybe you want me to. For some reason, my audio cut out on the video here, but as I was saying, if you have any cooler recommendations I can do a future video on, please leave a comment on those. If you've been following the channel for a while, consider subscribing. Really helps me out. Thank you guys for watching today. I hope you all have a good one.